The night was thick with smoke and tension when the SEAL commander first asked her for her call sign. She had been quiet until then, sitting among the shadows with the look of someone who had seen too much, yet said too little. The team didn't even know her name, only that she had been sent to guide them out of hostile territory after their mission went wrong. The commander, hardened by years of war, didn't like trusting strangers, but something about her silence made the others feel safe, even when nothing around them was. His question cut through the night like a blade. "What's your call sign?" She looked at him, her eyes dark and unreadable, and when she finally spoke, her voice was low, steady, almost chilling. "Silent Storm." In that moment, he understood something he hadn't before: why his team was still alive. They hadn't even known she was near until the firefight broke. One moment, insurgents were closing in, and the next, she appeared from nowhere, precise and merciless, guiding them out with the calm precision of someone who had walked through fire before. The commander noticed details the others missed: how she scanned corners before they reached them, how she always seemed to know where danger would strike. She never raised her voice, never lost her composure. While his men were shaken, bleeding, and exhausted, she moved like she had lived in that chaos her entire life. The tattoo on her wrist, half hidden beneath her sleeve, wasn't just decoration. It was a mark only the classified world would recognize. She wasn't ordinary. She was something else. The mission had been doomed from the start. The team had lost their extraction, communications were down, and every path seemed blocked. Men had already been killed. The commander was preparing himself for the possibility that none of them would make it out alive. But then she came, not like a savior, not like a hero, but like a shadow that belonged to the battlefield itself. She never introduced herself, never explained why she was there. She simply took control in the quietest way possible, pointing, guiding, killing when she had to. The others followed, not because she demanded it, but because she radiated a certainty they were desperate to hold on to. And every time they doubted, every time they thought it was over, she got them through the next moment. That was why, when the commander asked for her call sign, it wasn't curiosity, it was desperation. He needed to know who had really saved his men. Her reply, Silent Storm, wasn't just a name. It was a history. The commander remembered whispers, rumors of an operator who existed outside the system, someone who worked in silence and left behind only stories, missions that should have failed but didn't, teams that should have died but lived. He had dismissed those stories as legends, the kind soldiers tell each other in the dark to give themselves hope. But now she was standing in front of him, flesh and blood, with that same name on her lips. The hair on the back of his neck stood up, not from fear, but from the recognition that they were in the presence of someone whose very existence had been buried under classified files and silence. The men didn't know what her call sign meant, but they felt it. The way their commander looked at her told them enough: respect, fear, gratitude. They were alive because of her, though none of them understood how deep that truth went. Silent Storm wasn't just a call sign, it was a weight. It belonged to someone who had carried secrets, who had fought wars no one admitted existed, who had lost more than she would ever say. Her silence wasn't emptiness. It was the sound of someone who had learned that words couldn't carry the dead. Every step she took, every order she gave, came from a place carved out by loss and survival. As they pushed deeper into the night, avoiding patrols and slipping past checkpoints, she told them just enough to keep them moving, but never enough to reveal herself. The commander stayed close to her, watching, learning, realizing how much he didn't know. He had led men into war his entire life, but even he felt like a student next to her. Once, during a pause in the dark, he asked her why she hadn't left them behind. Her answer was so soft, only he heard it. "Because someone once did that to me." He didn't press further, but her words burned into him. He understood then that her presence wasn't an accident. It was penance. The escape became a test of endurance, not just of the body, but of the soul. Each man carried ghosts from that mission, and Silent Storm carried hers too. She knew the shortcuts, the trails through villages where no maps reached, the ways to move without being seen. When a child nearly exposed their position, she silenced the boy not with violence but with a whisper, calming him until they passed. When an enemy patrol closed in, she guided the team into the mud, lying motionless for hours as rain poured down, her eyes never once closing. She was a soldier who didn't just fight, she endured, and her endurance gave them life. By the time they reached the extraction point, the team was broken but breathing. The commander watched his men climb into the helicopter, their eyes wide with the realization that they had lived through something impossible. He turned to thank her, but she was already walking away, disappearing into the darkness as if she had never been there. He called after her, but she didn't stop. The only answer she gave was her silence. The commander knew then why she was called Silent Storm. She came without warning, tore through the chaos and vanished again, leaving only the truth of survival behind. Back at base, the men tried to talk about her, but their words faltered. How could they explain her? She was more than a soldier, more than a rescuer. She was the reason they had made it back, but she had taken nothing in return. Not recognition, not gratitude, not even her name. The commander wrote his report, careful with his words. He knew her existence would be questioned, dismissed, maybe even erased. But he also knew the truth. Silent Storm was real, and his team was still alive because of her. That knowledge was both a comfort and a burden, one he would carry for the rest of his life. Years later, when asked about that night, the commander never told the full story. He never revealed who she was or why she had been there, but in the quiet moments, when the weight of war pressed hardest, he thought of her. The storm that had come and gone in silence, leaving behind life where there should have been death. Silent Storm wasn't just a call sign. It was a reminder that sometimes the greatest heroes were the ones who never let themselves be known. If this story gripped you, don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe to Armed Forces Stories for more dark, emotional, and powerful true-style military stories.